Gurnett.
Here.
Jerem.
Here.
Melton.
Here.
Pauls. Thompson.
Here.
Festerson is absent. Mr. President.
Here. Y'all stand as we put the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by City Council.
Yeah, he said he's absent.
Member Amy.
I didn't say that. I did too. I said Pauls.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord,
We lost a remarkable member of our city this past week. At this time, please bless the Solomon family today as they continue to mourn the loss of Louise Solomon. Instead of focusing on the tragedy of her death, I would like to focus on the beauty of her life. Let us take some time to reflect on Louise. She was a lifelong resident of South Omaha. She blessed our world with 3 children, 7 grandchildren, 13 great-grandchildren, and 17 great-great-grandchildren. At the age of 93, Louise continued to bake, sew, and be an active parishioner at St. Francis Cabrini, the church she grew up in. Louise was a pillar in our community. God, I ask you to guide my former colleagues in the county attorney's office to help the family find peace through justice. At this time, I would like to take a moment of silence to reflect upon and honor the life and contributions of Louise Solomon to her family and our community. In God's name we pray.
Amen. Clerk.
City Clerk certified publication of Daily Record on July 26th. Notice for pre-council regular City Council meeting July 30th, 2013. A current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of legislative chambers.
And this is the Omaha City Council meeting. It is conducted in public and by law may only address the topics listed on the published agenda. The council will hear testimony but will not engage in debate or issues with the public at this meeting. During testimony, it is not appropriate to applaud or convey disapproval. These actions distract from the formal decorum of the meeting. At this time, please turn off or mute any electronic devices. Mr. Clerk.
Zoning ordinance on final reading planning board attachments. Item number 5, ordinance to rezone property located at 1115 South 7th Street from HI to R7 medium density multifamily residential district. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval.
Zoning ordinance on final approval. Item 5, any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Second. Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
It is passed 6-0. Item number 6, ordinance to rezone property located at 1315 Jones Street from DS to CBD Central Business District. The Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item 6 is today. Any proponents?
Jason Thielen, E&A Consulting Group, 330 North 117th Street, here on behalf of the applicant. Be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Thielen. Any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Milton.
Yes.
Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you.
6-0. Ordinance on final reading planning board attachments. Item number 7, ordinance to amend section 53-9 regarding street surfacing requirements. A, planning board, planning department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item 7 is today. Are there any proponents?
It was held.
Or is held on? I'm sorry, it was held on the 23rd. Is there a motion?
Second.
Seeing no lights, roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Milton. Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
It's passed 6-0. Item number 8, resolution to revise preliminary plat entitled Falling Waters located northwest 192nd and Harrison Street. Along with patch conditions hereby accepted. Preparation of final plat is hereby authorized. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval.
Agenda item number 8, the public hearing is now. Are there any proponents?
Mr. President, members of the council, John Bachman, 10250 Regency Circle, on behalf of the developer. This is the second phase of the Falling Water subdivision at 192nd and Harrison Street. I'm here to answer any questions.
Mr. Bachman, thank you. Are there any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is concluded. Is there a motion? Second. It's been moved and seconded. There are no lights. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Adopted 6-0. Item number 9, resolution of preliminary plat entitled Wingate Ranches, lots 97 through 363, located west of 204th Street and north and south of Blue Sage Parkway, along with attached conditions hereby accepted in preparation. The final plat is hereby authorized. A, Planning Board and the Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 9 is now. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon, Brian Doyle, Fulenkamp, Doyle and Jobin, 11440. Here on behalf of the applicant, we also have the engineer for the project. This is the second phase of the Wingate Ranch subdivision, generally at 208th and Pacific. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Are there any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Is there a motion? Seeing no lights, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
It's adopted 6-0. Liquor, item number 10 and 11 is one case. 10 is McKenna's Booze and Barbecue, 7425 Pacific Street. Class C liquor license, no application, no location. 11 is a catering application for the same applicant at the same location.
Public hearing on agenda items 10 and 11 are today. Are there any proponents?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, and the council. Michael Jenkins, president of Jenkins Enterprises, Inc.
Cynthia Jenkins, Secretary, Jenkins Enterprises, Inc.
Dennis Jenkins, Vice President of Operations, 12624 Bartles Drive, Omaha, Nebraska.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Second.
No lights, roll call. Oh, you got a light on? Oh, yes, you do. Okay.
I think, if I'm correct, you took over in March. Was that right?
Yes, sir.
Just wanted my colleagues to know that the food got better. It was always good, but a couple of weeks ago when we were playing up on stage with Drew,
Oh, I remember.
it was the food was. It seems like it's gotten better, so I really appreciate that. It went from good to even better.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
Is that a commercial, Mr. No. Roll call, please.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Mr. President?
Yes.
Adopted 6-0. Item number 12 is the American Legion number 374 at 139 1315 S Plaza. Request permission for an addition to the present Class C liquor license of an area approximately 39 by 27 to the east.
Public hearing on agenda item number 12 is today. Any proponents?
Craig Peterson, 13820 X Circle, Omaha, Nebraska. I'm finance officer and manager. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Seeing no lights, roll call.
Gurnett? Jerem? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Mr. President?
Yes.
Approved 6-0. Item number 13, American Dream, 2607 South 120th Street. Request permission for an addition to the present Class C liquor license. We have communications from the president of the corporation requesting that this withdrawal be, or this addition be withdrawn.
No lights, roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Mr. President?
Yes. I'm sorry, did you have any comments you wanted
He's
to
up on the next
I'm on.
one.
Oh, you're on the next
Sorry.
one, okay.
He's on both of them, actually.
Okay.
The next ones. It's the withdrawal is approved 6-0. Item number 14 is American Dream, also at 2607 South 120th Street. Request permission for deletion of the present Class C liquor license of a portion of the existing beer garden to the east from 25 by 21 to 10 by 20.
Public hearing on agenda item number 14 is today. Are there any proponents?
Yes, my name is Casey Rowe, American Dream, 2607 South 120th, and Council, I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Yes.
Okay.
Please make sure that you stay in contact with the neighbors in that group. They're very approachable, but if you don't work with them, they can, put you in a crosshair. So, especially when it comes to music. So, just make sure that you're working with the neighborhood.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Thank you. All right.
Is there a motion?
Move to approval.
Second.
Seeing no further lights, roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Approved 6-0. Item number 15 is a Crave, 200 South 31st Avenue, Suite 4103. Request permission to appoint John Nozzle, manager.
Public hearing on agenda item 15 is today. Are there any proponents?
John Ozol, General Manager, 1109 North 49th Street, Omaha, Nebraska.
Thank you, Mr. Ozo. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. No lights, roll call.
Gurnett? Jerem? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Mr. President?
Yes.
Approved 6-0. Item number 17 is Big Red Keno, request permission. 16. Fashion Institute Midwest, 107 South 55th Street. Request permission for a special designated license for reception at the CenturyLink Center Omaha parking lot G, August 19th. Music would end at 11:30. August 20th. Music would end at midnight. August 21st to the 22nd. Music would end at 1 a.m. August 23rd and 24th. Music would end at 1 a.m.
Public hearing on agenda item number 16 is today. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the Council. Nick Hudson, 107 South 55th Street, on behalf of Fashion Institute Midwest and Omaha Fashion Week. Here to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Any questions? Mr. Jarrell.
Yes, Mr. Hudson. Are you okay with amending your music to ending at midnight each night? And I bring that up only because the residents to the south of Capitol Avenue there have been fairly sensitive to noise issues, and through the first couple of years on the council, the owners of those businesses spent hundreds of thousands of dollars putting in new sound absorption systems. And so with outdoor music till 1 and knowing the sensitivity of your neighbors to the south, I just throw that out there as a possible accommodation.
Yes, I think we're very sensitive. We work with the owners of the buildings, the residents there. Really, it's really sort of more ambient music after the fashion shows. So I think we'd ask to have the flexibility of doing it through 1 a.m. But we'd be very, very sensitive to keeping the noise levels down. We don't want to disturb anybody at all. We've sort of done this now for 6 years, and we always try and make sure we don't create any problems.
So when you say the ambient music, is that ambient music of a band or ambient music of?
So it would be a DJ. So it's really just allowing people to mingle after the event and to have a drink. Hopefully, if the weather's nice, we have a big tent. There's a 20,000 square foot tent, so it's a big change in the format of the event.
Of course, you'll be up and out at the event at that time.
Yes.
I'm usually in bed and asleep. I'm just wondering about the phone calls I'll be getting at that hour and the clerk.
We'd sort of be very sensitive to that, and we just really like the flexibility of being able to just that people aren't sort of standing there and it's totally silent, especially on the Friday and Saturday nights. That would just be really helpful. But we're very, very sensitive. I mean, the event's been running this is the 6th year. We wanted to keep going. It's now the 5th biggest fashion week in the country, which is something we're really proud of. But we don't want to have, we talked to Shamrock Development, and they've got a big sort of presence in the area around that sensitivity of noise. So we talked to them about just having more like an ambient music, after midnight. It's just very, very, just a background DJ playing, that sort of thing. Does that still create a concern, do you think?
Well, everything's relative. And I think it's a great event, and I'm sure that your success has created the need to move to where you're going, which is a good thing. It was my hope that I could get a better understanding for your ambient description in terms of subwoofers and thumping noises. And
we'd be happy to provide. Basically, I think exactly as you said, it's making sure there's not too much bass.
What my daughters think of ambient and what I think of ambient. And then going up the scale to what my wife thinks is ambient. So everything has,
The good thing about the event is that I think we're very unlike. We wouldn't have any problem at all about the midnight, Monday through Thursday. We just put that in there to have a little bit more flexibility. But because really the crowds really will have left by then. The show's finished about 11, so it just allows a little bit of time just for people to make their way to their cars. But we'll be very, very sensitive around just being aware of how the music does travel, over the street to those residents. But we're always just very sensitive to not having people have a concern with an event like that. The hope is that this would actually be our long-term base. We want to make sure that the residents are comfortable with the event coming to the new venue.
Thank you. Mr. Gurnett.
Mr. Clerk, you said this was the 6th year, sir?
The 6th year, yes. We do 2 shows a year.
Last 5, Mr. Clerk, we have any complaints in or around that area?
Buster Brown, City Clerk. They are moving from an area they used to be. I think the first year they had a couple complaints from some of the residents right above it.
That's right.
But since then we have not had any complaints.
Is this your first year at the CenturyLink?
This is the first year at that location, yes.
At that location. I know that you probably understand the sensitivity that the council has.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think a reasonable request has been made to stop at midnight, and you're willing to do that, I can support that. But if you're going to stick with 1 a.m., I won't be able to support it.
Okay. Well, in that case, then I think we're comfortable with the midnight for the music. Presumably, we're allowed people to still mingle as they sort of make their ways to the car.
Just my comment as well. I would prefer that you close off the music at midnight as well.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes. This year, and if we don't get any complaints or any problems, then we can entertain perhaps maybe moving it up next year. I agree with you. It's a great event. We want to keep it going, but we have to continue, to be sensitive to the neighbors around the particular area. So I would, if you would be willing to, on the record, just say let's do 12 o'clock every night.
That's fine with us. Yeah, we appreciate the feedback and the getting the right balance with the residents. So it's important to us that it works well in this new location. So we're happy to go with the midnight.
Okay,
this year.
well, let's try it at midnight first and see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Any other, no other lights? Is there a motion?
How about a motion to amend the music to midnight?
Motion to amend the music.
Second. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Second.
Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
It's adopted as amended 6-0.
Thank you for cooperating.
Thank you.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Item number 17, resolution that Big Red Kino is granted approval to operate a satellite at Dr. J's Drinkery at 3012 North 102nd Street. We have communications from Big Red requesting a 2-week layover till August 16th.
Second.
Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton? Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
It's laid over 2 weeks, 6-0. Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause an item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, as otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearings on agenda items number 18 through 22 were held on July 23rd, 2013.
Motion to approve.
No lights, roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
They're all passed 6-0. We are removing item number 24 from the consent agenda for resolutions.
Okay.
Motion to allow withdrawal.
Well, let's go through the consent agenda first.
Go through the consent agenda.
You need to read the public.
Okay. The public hearing on agenda items numbers 23 through 32 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by your name, address, and who you represent, and if you are a proponent or an opponent. Public hearing is closed. Need to remove item. We need to remove item 24.
Yeah, we've got that in removal.
Okay.
We're okay.
All right. Go ahead. Motion?
Yep. Motion and second.
Okay. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President. Items
Yes.
23, 25 through 32 are adopted 7-0. Item number 24 is a resolution that the city concurs with the bid award for project OPW 5164-3. We have a request from Public Works to allow withdrawal.
So moved. Second.
No lights. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
It's withdrawn 6-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7F, agenda items number 33 through 34 should be laid over 3 weeks for publication and public hearing. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7H, due to no meeting being held August 6th, the third reading and public hearing on agenda items number 35 to 37 shall be held on August 13th. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7F, the third reading on agenda items number 38 through 41 shall be held on August 13th. The public hearing on these items are today. Ordinances on second reading. Item 38, ordinance declaring necessity of appropriating property located at 1618, 1618 and a half, 1620, and 1620 and a half Ohio Street for implementation of the consolidated submission for action plan.
Public hearing on agenda item number 38 is today. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
39, ordinance approving a redevelopment tax center financing loan agreement with 16th and Harney LLC to implement the Lerner Building tax center financing redevelopment project plan at the project site located at 325 South 16th Street, which represents the adaptive reuse and conversion of the former Lerner Building.
Public hearing on agenda number 39 is today. Are there any proponents?
Bridget Hadley, City Planning, here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Richard. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Item number 40, ordinance to approve an agreement between the Domestic Violence Council and the City of Omaha to provide funding for the Domestic Violence Investigation Squad Sergeant position at the Omaha Police Department.
Public hearing on agenda item number 40 is today. Are there any proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item number 41, special ordinance laying a special tax and assessment on certain lots, parts of lots and pieces of real estate within the City of Omaha to cover the cost of constructing sidewalks in SWR 2013-02.
Public hearing on agenda item number 41 is today. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Pursuant to City Council Rule 7H, the second reading and public hearing on agenda items number 42 through 46 shall be held on August 13th.
No lights. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
2:25. We are adjourned.
spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain.